was kind of both of us.
Oh, was
it? We're just going to talk about...
bring it on.
We can do it together.
Do it together.
What first?
Talking about, like, if kind of bringing old games back and remaking them and stuff. But
Go, James.
basically go around the room and basically say, like, if there was a game that hasn't been remade yet, okay, so an old game from the past that you would love to see, and for the life of you, you can't think why they haven't remade it. So, you know, we've had Shenmue 3 be announced, going to be...
And what is the past in this case? Like, how long ago?
As far back as you want, as long as it's never been remade.
Oh, so there was only ever one incarnation sort of thing.
Yeah, let's put it that. Well, there were sequels maybe, but it hasn't been redone in the last, let's say, 15 years.
Oh wow, okay, shit. So we're looking at what before 2000.
It could be a game that you're really keen on.
Who cares? It's just the first game that comes to mind.
No, because I did have one that comes to mind. I don't think it's applicable. I think you'll shoot me down as soon as I say it.
Sorry, last 10 years or whatever. I don't know.
I bet you'll still shoot me down.
Or deserves to be remade or reimagined, or, you know.
It was like before its time.
The
it should
games
be
that
brought back into.
they already have.
It was so good at its time, but now
it could be better if it was remade.
Let's go with you, man, because you got two.
Realized.
While we think about it.
Okay, so obviously, so two of mine is Leisure Suit Larry. So I don't know if you remember Leisure Suit Larry from the 90s. Basically a guy who did lots of crude shit.
tried to get
James's favourite game. Who was it made by?
Sierra.
It was Sierra game, right?
Sierra.
Basically, it was one of those games. Yeah, it was a role play game.
You had to find love by the end of the night. Basically.
Yeah, it was a comedic game, and you got to do some really crude shit, you know, with women. But he was a skinny runt, and he was trying to find love, and he did like lots of stupid shit. Had a really quite good storyline.
Yeah.
You want to see this remade?
Yeah, I think it was a really great game.
I'm going to blow your mind. It has been remade in the last year.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first one just got remade.
It got
and they're in the
kickstarted.
process of trying to remake, at least do another one.
Yeah, they released 2 console versions of Leisure Suit Larry as well on 360.
Yeah, those weren't very
Those
good.
were terrible.
Yeah.
Well, it's not allowed to be terrible.
Yeah, it's good. I've played it.
I didn't know it had been
it's a scene-for-scene remake of the old one with some extra bits put into it.
So I've got Leisure Larry, and I wouldn't mind the original Dune being re-released, because I'm obviously serious in the Command and Conquer. I wouldn't mind
June 2 or the June 2000 like.
Well, I know June 2000 got released in 2000, but it was quite crap, really.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind them actually spending some time, because basically June 2000 was the original, basically, with able to play on an up-to-date computer. Now, if you like Command and Conquer and all those other series, I like going back to the original with the Atreides and, you know, all
Harkonnen.
I'd love to see a new Dune game. It'd be awesome.
Exactly. So. And you go back to the basics of where it all began. I think that would be great to revisit that genre with an updated title, back to the original
strategy, real-time strategy.
Yeah. I don't think that studio is still working at the moment, though.
Who was that? That was
Westwood Studios. I think they went under at some point.
Well, EA's probably got some rights there somewhere.
Probably do.
Probably.
So, like, those are my two picks. Probably, I think they would fit in nicely. Obviously, Leisure Suit Larry's not doing too well, so shit to him.
Shit to him.
You know, well, yeah, I think Dune would do really, really well, but then those are my sort of genres of games, so and there's probably plenty of others I can come up with, but
still thinking?
I've got 3 that randomly come to mind. Oh, I'm going to just say them anyway. One game, I don't know the title, so if you think of it, let me know. But there was a breakdancing game on the PS1, and all you had to do was like put in the you just put in the directions of the buttons that were coming down.
Was it made by the people that did Parappa the Rapper?
I think so. Parappa the Rapper.
First PlayStation, eh?
It was on PlayStation, and like they all had like little dances, and you had a little dance, break dancing battle, and then all the characters had different styles, and they had a special as well.
Was it cartoony? Like
yeah, it was.
Probably was that. I know the game you're talking about. I don't know. I can't remember the name.
That'd be really cool to see something fun like that. A breakdancing battle game, and it was really simple. And then the idea was that kind of you put the other person off, and if you did a special, like one of the guys, I think his name was Pyro or something, he like fired a fireball into the air and it went up, and then if it hit you in time, if it hit you, it would ruin your rhythm.
Yeah.
But you could press a button to evade it.
Yeah.
And each person had a bit of a special, but I forgot what the game was called. It would be really cool to see that again, because it was one of those one-time hits where it came out and it was kind of like, yeah, this is really fun, but they didn't come up with any sequels. Another game that comes to mind is one of the first games I ever played, and I've mentioned it in our very first podcast. It was called Total Eclipse Turbo, which was just like it was just an arcade space shooter. So you had a spaceship and you just followed it, and you just it was on rails, and you just controlled the ship and you just fired things that came towards you.
Oh, okay.
If you would check it up on YouTube, like I said as well, it looks terrible. But it was one of the first games I played on my PlayStation 1, and it was really cool. It was very similar to those top-down kind of arcade games, but it was using the PlayStation's technology of 3D models and stuff.
Yeah.
So and finally, really quick, a game called Auto Destruct, and that was basically like Twisted Metal, except it had a campaign story. Oh, do you remember that old TV program called Viper?
Yeah.
And it was a criminal, and he lost his memory, and then he got given this awesome Viper. It was a similar story. You lost your family in a terrorist attack, and you got given this awesome car with all this amazing technology. I really enjoyed that game, and it looked terrible. Hopefully you can find stock images of this to like
chuck on here,
because it'd be really funny to watch.
Yeah.
Or both Viper as well as Auto Destruct.
Somebody's talking.
Buster Groove.
Buster Groove.
That's it,
Buster Groove, that dancing game I was talking about earlier. Buster Groove. That game was so cool. I have really fond memories of that. But I'd like to see all three of those games either brought back or made, or
even with like the motion control of today and stuff, you imagine what those games would be like, the PlayStation Move and the Kinect and all that.
Well, they do that with those Just Dance games and all that stuff, but these ones were cool because it wasn't you doing the dancing. Like you actually pulled off the moves, and they did like windmills, spins and stuff, backflips. But yeah, that's me.
Man,
How about you, bro?
I'm really struggling to think of a game.
Do you want to come back?
I'll just say the first one that popped into my mind was Prince of Persia, because there hasn't been a Prince of Persia game since probably 2006 or 7.
So you just want another revamp of a revamp?
Yeah, it's just been too long for me between drinks. I love that franchise, and where the hell's my next Prince of Persia game?
No, fair enough, yeah.
In terms of older games, like I was thinking like games like Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis and things like that, but that's sort of been naturally evolved into things like Uncharted, so it kind of has been
the initial film.
Like I don't think you could release a game like Fate of Atlantis now without it being Uncharted. It's kind of what it would become. Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, you're talking about... So you're going to talk about the point-and-click
I like the point-and-click games, but I don't know if they still work, because when I think old school, that's what I think of, I guess, point-and-click.
Point-and-click games, like Walking Dead and
Yeah.
Game of Thrones,
Telltale.
and Telltale series.
Monkey Island and...
Call of Cthulhu as a Walking Dead game would be pretty sweet, I think.
Do you remember that game Myst?
Yeah, I didn't play it, but I remember it was pretty big.
There's
I
heaps of
played
lists.
it,
There's like 5 Mists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they keep making them.
They keep
Someone plays them.
So
I don't know who. Yeah, it's very hard. I can't think. Sorry.
Maybe we'll
how
come
about
back.
you?
No, that was Prince of Persia was a perfect example.
Oh, okay, sweet, great.
Yeah.
Like what you see, like there's probably games that, if I was to pick a game, has probably been filled already by a new game.
Yeah.
But for an older game, I would really want, like, when I heard that Final Fantasy VII was being remade, I'd love a Final Fantasy VIII remake, which may or may not happen.
sorry, since you're talking about Final Fantasy VII, I just saw news lately about they're getting rid of the active time battle thing that we talked about, whether they were going to do that, and they're taking inspiration from the Advent Children movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know how you feel about that.
Wait, so that's
the look.
they're getting rid of the whole
battle-
Final Fantasy style of combat.
Of the my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn.
Really?
Yeah, so they're actually gonna. It may be very similar to what's the latest Final Fantasy? The demo that came out 14, is it?
Oh, 15, is
15?
it? Yeah.
Maybe very similar to that style.
That's
play.
what
I haven't
people
played it. Yeah, that's probably a whole
No?
other topic
Not
to
a
be
fan?
honest.
It's
I
a
like it.
remake. It's not a reboot.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, but that is Final Fantasy. Like half of it is the gameplay. Like that's,
Well, to me, a remake should be more faithful than a reboot. Because if you're remaking it, you should be remaking it from what it was. You know, the fans want to see what it was. When I saw that news, I was pissed off instantly. I was like, really? Why fucking fix what ain't broken? That's what the game was.
Well, then why don't you play the original then?
That's what the fans want. Yeah, but that's why they're remaking it. They're remaking it for the fans, and that to me is a remake. If you're gonna make it completely different, then that's not a remake.
No, it's a reimagining. I don't think they ever said it was a remake.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
That
they
was-
said it's a remake, but they did say a reimagining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely. Well, the way they sold it in the Sony conference was the last closing line as it faded to black and then said remake. So that's what they said they're doing.
They lied.
It's a loaded term, isn't it?
They lie all the time.
Yeah.
You're still gonna buy
Fuck
it.
them.
It wouldn't surprise me if they're actually just putting this out there to test fan reaction, and then they
Yeah.
Because it's not even made.
yeah, no, it's years away.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see.
I'm still looking forward to it. I really enjoyed the Ambit Children movie.
I think it'll still be good regardless.
I think so too.
It's going to be
Oh, yes, it will
divisive
be.
no matter what you do. People are still going to go, "Ugh."
Oh yeah, for sure.
It'll be what it is. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off there, but
The other game would be Morrowind, but that's getting redone by a independent developer.
Mm.
Okay.
well,
With
a sequel or an
with
actual?
a Skyrim engine.
Elder Scrolls is being rebuilt
Yeah.
with the Skyrim engine,
Cool.
Which will be cool.
which will
Yeah.
be cool.
Yeah.
They're doing Oblivion as well. Actually, the trailer was released last week.
Oh, sweet.
Is this official? Like this is not
No,
some.
no,
It's not.
fan-made.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
what
called-
mods? Yeah.
It's called Skywind.
Skywind.
Yeah.
It looks awesome though, man. It was such a good setup.
Oh, Skywind. Oh man.
That's basically it for me. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm happy with everything else.
You're happy with the way games have gone?
I thought
and
you wanted to say
the games
Sonic
that
the
got left
Hedgehog.
behind. There's heaps of Sonic games.
Is it?
Yeah, they come out all the bloody time.
Oh. Sonic
Right.
became-
First thing that comes to my mind is, I play these old Sega games all the time, and
Yeah.
what I can't understand is, and they were so strong in the 90s, was the arcade beat 'em up, the Capcom
Yeah.
style beat 'em up of walking around,
Yeah,
punching
Streets of Rage.
guys.
Streets of Rage and
So
stuff.
I would want Streets of Rage to be remade.
Streets of Rage is one of my all-time favourites.
Yeah, definitely. Double Dragon. I know they've
The
done
same way
Double
though,
Dragon.
like where we were talking about like a remake,
Same
reimagining.
No, I mean update it. Make it not fully make it kind of that 2.5D. Where it's kind of it looks like it's they can walk around and stuff, but it's actually on a 2D plane.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it looks 3D. Have the weapons and stuff. Have the guys jump in, and you just the whole side scrolling.
But
beat 'em up.
Isn't that what the game is about? It's about you joining with your friend. Like it was
Yeah.
always back in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
It's a 2-player game. Let's get a 2-player game.
Yeah.
And you play it with your mate,
Mm.
and that's what you do.
Mm.
And it was simple. Like you could
Yeah,
literally just
simple.
sit
It was
down
fun.
and do it.
Yeah.
And that would be an awesome game to bring back because you can have 4 players.
Or even just the actual franchise, Streets of Rage. It was such a
Yeah,
cool
it was.
franchise.
Well, they had 3 of them, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was such
I believe it was the first game that had a female character.
Really?
a playable
There's-
female character.
Yeah, playable
the-
female character
yeah,
alongside with Street Fighter, I believe.
Nah.
Yeah, didn't I have that female character?
Go screw yourselves then.
Nah, it couldn't be. Nah, because there's one on Sega Master System. You can play fantasies. There's girl characters in that. In that, I remember.
I really enjoyed
Phantasy
that
Star
game.
and
I
that.
can't think.
Was it a Nintendo game with the
Miss
Metroid?
Pac-Man.
Metroid.
Yeah, Metroid
She
as
was-
well.
that's one of the
yeah.
first, right?
She was a female.
Oh,
yeah.
you're right. Yeah, Samus.
Mm. But that's what I'd want anyway.
Nice.
I love those games, man. I was playing Final Fight the other day. Like, that game's so classic.
Yeah, I
with
remember that.
Hagar.
Hagar, yeah.
And he's just like doing windmills with his arms and stuff and picking
Golden
guys up and pile driving them into the ground. And it's just like, you could have it with pseudo wrestling moves and even bring in some kind of Street Fighter type stuff, uppercuts and fireballs. And I don't know, it'd just be awesome,
The best
a
thing about...
side-scrolling Street Fighter, for God's sake,
Yeah.
that would be awesome.
Did they do that?
No.
No, as it was like a feature in one of the Street Fighter games, wasn't it? Or a
No,
Tekken
that
game?
was Tekken.
Was
Tekken.
Tekken.
Tekken Force.
Yeah.
Golden
But the best thing
Yeah,
about...
Golden Axe.
Yeah, exactly. Is like, that's a whole missing genre now to video games. You don't have beat-em-ups anymore.
Well, every time they've brought back those franchises, they've made them into those kind of 3D kind of, open world type, not open world, but 3D type games. But those games are heavily grounded in a 2D sensibility. They
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to be you walking along a street, you know, with trash cans and stuff, and that's what it has to be.
Turkeys.
You can't deviate from that. You can't, you know.
Get your turkey dinner.
Turkeys, apples.
Do you guys remember the game Soul Reaver?
Soul
Yeah.
Reaver.
That was a cool game. I'd like to see that come back. Or did they make a part 3?
Don't know.
Possibly.
I remember playing part 1 and 2, and I really enjoyed those. Really, really demonic and.
Legacy.
They're quite old school, eh? Like
Oh
PS...
no, yeah, there was a Legacy of Kane, wasn't it?
Was that Soul Reaver?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had one where you played as Kane and.
Abel?
I forgot his name. I thought I'd put it out there.
Are those quite old? PS2, PS1, or...?
PS1,
They've
Soul
got-
Reaver 1, PS2 was
They've got those on
Soul Reaver 2.
good old games on PC.
We've seen a lot of Kickstarters bringing back stuff from
Oh!
the 90s and that.
Time Splitters!
You want to
Bring back
Time
Time
Splitters!
Splitters! That's one of the greatest series ever! Where the
Yeah.
fuck is that?
Yeah.
That was a cool game.
That is what made me a first-person shooter fanatic. I had not played a first-person shooter before Time Splitters. That game. Man, yes.
It's probably not far away when you think about it, because I reckon another 5 years they will go back to those early PlayStation 1 games and do them, I reckon. I wouldn't be surprised, because it's just where the nostalgia level's at the moment. Feels like it's 90s,
Yeah.
you know? And so I wouldn't be surprised if another
Well, it
5
was
years...
a release for PlayStation 2.
Oh, well, yeah,
Yeah.
even that. Yeah.
But
It just hasn't
yes.
been long enough. You know, it's got to be lost out of the collective memory, and then all of a sudden it's like,
Bring it
look
back.
at
It
this.
was lost.
Remember this?
And I just
It's
plucked
already
it out of
lost
the
out of
sky.
most people's memories.
Oh, that's a great topic.
Kids of these days have never
Very
played
cool.
any of these games.
But the reason I wanted to get in this as well is also to talk a little bit about King's Quest that's just come out, which is when you look at it, is a total reimagining. Because the original game was point and click. You know, you walk around, pick up stuff, collect things. But this game looks like, I don't know, a combination between Dragon's Lair, if you ever played that game, the cartoony one where the guy had all the choices and stuff, and kind of like the Telltale type stuff, I guess it's come out now. But it looks gorgeous. It's all hand-painted, cel-shaded animation, and
Nice.
Great
It's-
voiceover
it's-
cast.
awesome voiceover cast. It's got a very Princess Bride feel to it.
Yeah.
You know, it's got that kind of almost self-deprecating humour
Yeah.
going on. Like,
Was it
you know,
like that in the original?
not really. It played it pretty straight, but there was a little bit of humour.
Yeah.
But this seems to play on the whole fantasy trope thing as well. Like, you know, it's kind of like Shrek. It's got that kind of.
Oh, yeah.
It's deconstructing the fantasy fairy tale genre a little bit. It seems to be that kind of thing going on. So. It's very expensive on Steam at the moment. Though. It's like
Oh,
$7.
it's out.
Yeah, it's out.
Oh.
Released,
But it's
yeah.
but it's coming out in episodes. I think it's like
Yeah.
5 episodes, and it's like the first
Is
episode.
it PC only?
I think it's coming out on consoles. It should be.
Because I'd play it.
King's Quest is back from the late 80s, early 90s.
And that's
wasn't it?
really old.
There were
franchise.
5 of them? King's Quest?
No,
Seven.
It's actually
7.
it's 8.
I remember number 7, so I knew there was at least
So it was a
7.
big series back in the day for,
8 or
you know,
9,
old
might
computers.
be.
And they're releasing it episodically.
Yes, like the Telltale games. Like,
Yeah.
And it's $70 for the first episode.
No, sorry, 70 for the whole thing. Sorry.
Oh, and they released it.
First episode's like
And
20 or something.
What do you guys... I had a conversation with a friend of mine before I came here. What do you guys think about episodic gaming? In terms of paying for a whole game, not knowing what you're going to get, and it gets released like once a month
I think it's a good
kind
idea.
of thing.
I mean,
I think it works well for Telltale in
terms.
terms of you're almost an interactive TV series,
Yeah.
and then you wait for the next one to come out.
Yeah,
Played a game
there's
like that.
something fun about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something interesting, and when the next one comes out, you can give it
And
a go.
they're cheap enough that you feel like you're getting your little self-contained story for
Yeah.
whatever price you paid. Like, I don't think I'd feel ripped off if suddenly the third one in the series was shit. You'd be like, why did I invest in this? I mean, it'd be annoying,
Yeah.
but it hasn't been that much money.
But you'd probably still keep playing as well.
And you'd probably still keep playing and see if the fourth
Yeah.
one picked it up or whatever.
That sounds interesting. I've never played it.
It's an interesting style, then, that these games can
I like
do
that
this
they're
kind of
doing
stuff. I
it.
think that's really cool.
I
yeah.
think it
Yeah.
opens up, you know, a whole marketing strategy and just releasing the first episode for free.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
they've
totally.
done that.
Like,
Yeah.
why not? And then
Hook
release
people.
the rest and have to pay.
But also with Telltale's, like, for example, Telltale's Game of Thrones works really well that it's released episodically. And it's almost almost like you're.
Fits like the TV.
It
It fits
feels
the
like
program.
it's
It
just
feels like
another
it feels
facet
like
to the show. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Same with the Walking
Suits
Dead.
the Resident Evil franchise as well. The Revelations.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and I
Because
haven't
part
played it.
2's episodic, but part 1, when you play it, it does the whole Alan Wake thing. It does like a previously on Resident Evil, and this is just
That's
between
I like
levels.
that stuff. I
And it
think
was
that's
cool.
really
It's like
cool. Yeah.
recaps it,
You'd love Alan
especially
Wake.
on the
Yeah.
3DS, which you only play snippets of. So you come back and next thing. Previously, it's like, oh, that's what I did. And it's like months ago, but it's awesome. It refreshes
I think
you.
it's
and
cool.
It feels
Do something
natural actually. It's quite cool. So yeah, I like it.
You like it? Yeah,
definitely.
you like
I mean,
it. You haven't
it's-
even played it, yeah?
It stops
No,
you,
it's-
getting a full game and then playing it all in 1 week and getting burnt out on it, and then
Yeah.
that's it, done. Not going to touch that again. It gives
true.
you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and bite-sized entertainment, which I'm happy with, considering the thing we've quite often spoken about is the lack of time we have to play
Yeah,
games.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it suits certain types of games. I think, like
Yes.
like The Walking Dead and the Sam and Max series. If anyone's ever played that, is
I
episodic
have.
as
They're
well.
awesome.
And
In
each-
fact, bring those back.
Each one was 3 hours, like literally. You could play it through in 3 hours, and it was like that every episode. So you knew what you were in for basically, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's good because it gives us a whole new genre of game.
I like that about LA Noire actually, about how.
Oh, was
all
that
the-
episodic?
all
To a
the-
degree.
Yeah, like
Still the full game.
Yeah, but within
like-
the storytelling of
yeah,
it was.
like every time you started a new case, it
was kind of chapters,
It was like
wasn't
the
it?
start of like a new noir story, and like it came up with
Yeah.
like the title, and then there was like an intro bit to set
Yeah.
up the case, and.
Yeah,
Is
and
that
the-
game worth playing?
yeah.
Did you never play
No,
LA
I
Noire?
never. I
It's a
thought I missed
fucking-
it, and it was always on my
I didn't
radar.
either. I
It's
didn't
an
either.
awesome game.
It's fun.
It's really fun.
It
Yeah,
gets a
it's
little
like-
bit repetitive.
The questioning and shit sort of gets repetitive, but the cases I think are cool enough. But yeah, it's like proper detective work in the 1940s. You pick up shit, make up clues, and spot this and that, and then you question the suspects and
Yeah.
try and pick whether they're lying or not based on because it's all
Oh, yeah, all
it's,
the facial-
it's all done with facial
And the
cameras. Like it's all,
acting's,
yeah.
it's all
acting's pretty convincing. Like,
it's all proper
they're
acting.
lying and
Yeah.
shit's like, you're lying.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy's like,
they're
"Oh, no."
looking
They're
like,
around. and-
well.
yeah. Some of them do. Some of them
some of them do like
overact.
that.
It's like, that.
Yeah, some of them like their lips and they
But
go,
is there anyone who does that and they're telling the truth?
And you're allowed to look
No.
at them after they've like when they finish speaking, they're still there and they're just like, and you can see their nervousness while they're not even speaking, and it's quite cool.
That is quite cool.
And like, why aren't you saying anything? Like they'll even say that after a while if you're sitting there just looking at your notes, like you're gonna say something.
Do you believe me?
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
it's a,
I
it's a
should
really
play
good
it.
game. I'm surprised they didn't do a second one.
The
Bring it
company,
back.
Company went bust.
Rockstar.
They are.
Yeah, Rockstar.
No, Team Bondi was a Sydney company that made it, but they're actually they actually are making a new game called Whore of the Orient,
I love that title.
Yeah.
which is a similar story but set in Shanghai, I think.
Wow. Okay.
Another noir type.
It's a similar
Cool.
concept.
Yeah, but they're having a lot of development problems and they're having issues there. I don't know if it's. I know it was being made. I don't know what the story is.
Have they
now.
sort of said that it's like part 2 to this
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of
It's
LA
the same
Noir?
development company. They've been trying to get them. Because they went bankrupt, and then they reinvented themselves as this other entity or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're making this game now. But it's a spiritual successor to LA Noir.
Oh, interesting. That's cool.
You can probably get it really cheap today too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Lovely. Love your work.